Action.
All right.
All right. Sabbath peace.
Sabbath peace.
It's another opportunity for us to come together and hear and learn of the word of God. Is that what I say?
I learned the word of truth.
Hear and learn of the word of truth that's given to us by the Most High God. All honor goes to the Father through the Son, whose name is YAHUAH. In him lies the only hope for salvation. We know that it is obtained by grace through faith, not of works, lest anyone should boast, and given freely as a gift to all who obey him. We understand that if you do not obey him, it is made manifest or made obvious that you do not believe. In this state, you should expect no good thing from the Most High. However, anything that you do get, whether it be a gift of tongues, a gift of prophecy, or any supernatural experience that you may have, it can and it will be used against you in the day of judgment. With that said, peace to the saints that are in the room, to the saints that's watching on the camera, to the saints that couldn't make it, but no peace to the wicked. The only thing we say to them is repent that they might live. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? All righty. Let's get right to it. This is this is Deuteronomy chapter 23, ain't it? Deuteronomy chapter 23.
Yeah.
Go back there and tell them, you know what I'm saying, relax a little bit. I feel like I just told them to relax, and you know what I'm saying? Just like, Yeah, go ahead.
She was playing in the water. Her whole shoe wet. Inside. I told her to
She is?
She was playing in the water.
Of course she is.
It's Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 1. Let's see what the book talking about.
He that is wounded in the stones.
It's a he that is wounded in the stones.
Or has his...
Who know what the stones are?
The stones are though.
I feel like it's bad, but we're going to actually get it right. Like, he talking about your balls, huh? You know what I'm saying? No, the stones, the little boys, and you know what I'm saying? Y'all call them balls nowadays? Your scrotums?
Should be fine.
That was what they call them at school. It'd be like the balls. That's what we used to call them when I was young. Like balls, you know what I'm saying? Girl kick you in your balls. You know what I'm saying? You ever heard that? Yeah. Everybody know what I'm talking about when I say that, right?
Yes. It's very painful.
Right? The shape of our scrotums is like balls. Right?
Woo, yes.
So listen, we play basketball, right? Soccer, all these different things, baseball, all of them is circular, right? So when we relate that back to our private part, we look at it and we say, these are like balls. It's like having two balls, right? So now what's happening here is it wasn't no basketball, it wasn't no soccer. But last week, what did we talk about if a person was a bad son? The son just didn't listen. What did we say we were going to do to that son? Andre.
They said they were going to stone him.
They were going to stone him, right? So imagine you always got stones around. People be getting stoned all the time. You don't have no balls. You might look down at your scrotum and you might say, you know what? These look kind of like stones, right? So the same way we call them balls, they call them stones. He's like, what do you say? If a man has what?
He that is wounded in the stones.
If he's wounded in the stone, you know what that means? That means them things didn't come out right. Sometimes people born, you know what I'm saying, they stuff a little messed up. Sometimes some people get their stuff cut off, you know what I'm saying? It's a really rough time that we lived in, you know what I'm saying? A little different time.
They had like, it wasn't like medicine and doctors and all of that. Like they had medicine, but it was different, you know what I mean?
Did they like do sports or something like their own race?
I'm sure they had games, but it's not like what we would think.
Yeah, we don't have nothing documented, but yeah, we pretty sure it was some type of sports, right? So if you wounded in the stones and what else?
Or his privy member cut off.
Right? Or your privy member, your private part is cut off, right? So if a man, you wounded in your little, you know what I'm saying, your little sack, you know what I'm talking about? Or something, that thing just, you know what I'm saying, somebody came and sliced that thing right on off, then guess what? That thing sound painful, don't it?
You shall not enter into the congregation of Yahuwah.
That means you can't come to the congregation, right? That means you got to stay outside of the congregation, right? When we come together to serve the Most High God, that individual can't do that. How many people think that's unfair? That's unfair. Is it my fault my stuff is wounded? My privy part got cut off? Somebody did that to me, right? But guess what? That's the rule. They got that. A lot of times what happens is in this book, people are charged because there's things in this book that women are sensitive to. Like, for example, like a woman can't teach or preach can't teach or preach to a man, right? That's not appropriate according to the book. So people might look at that and be like, see, the Bible is against women and this, that, and the other. But if you notice here, we're not about to read nothing about something happening to a woman and she can't come into the congregation. This is only relative to a man. Right? If something happened to a man, if he ain't born the right way, if something, you know what I'm saying? If something happened throughout his life, somebody do something to him and they cut his stuff off to be mean, any of that, he can never enter into the congregation to serve the Most High God in that way. He gotta do it from afar. Right? What this is teaching us is the Most High God don't like blemishes. He likes perfection. Right? All of us have a chance of being perfect. Who can tell us how we can do it? Perfect before God, that is. How are we going to do that? How do we accomplish that? How do we become perfect before God? You don't know? We talk about this. All right, disappointing.
Keep your body parts.
Keep your one. How do we become perfect before God? Huh? Clean up the earth. Boy, you be listening to too many people at school. We don't care nothing about
was that Earth Day?
You know, what's wrong with them? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? People telling you, pick up your trash, don't litter. I don't care nothing about no darn litter. Don't litter, though. Right? Well, how can we become perfect before God?
Don't sin.
Don't sin. Who said that? TJ, you don't sin. Right? You don't sin. What'll happen is the Most High God take whatever body you in, and guess what he do with it? You die, and he gonna raise you up, and he gonna make you different. He gonna make you perfect before him, as long as you finish your life without sinning. Right? Raise your hand if you sinned before. Boy, if you don't get your darn hand up, you just, you know, he's sinning right now because he ain't raised his hand. You too, you got a darn cross on your neck.
Oh, that's a sin?
Yeah, it's a darn sin, boy. Look, Jamar, you still thinking about it? Jamar, I don't know, Jamar might be without sin. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never seen Jamar do that. That boy might be without sin. Boy, you Jesus? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That boy might be without sin. I ain't never seen him do nothing wrong. That boy be on point every time. Calm out, man. Every time they into something, Jamar just be standing there like, I told him not to do it. You know what I'm saying? I be like, you can come over whenever you want to. Right? But no, seriously though, all of us sin. Right? So now we imperfect before God. What'll happen is if we stop the sin, right? We ought to raise our hand. We look at it and be like, I messed up. I didn't messed up before. I didn't lie. I didn't cuss. I didn't say something to my mama I wasn't supposed to say. You know what I'm saying? I didn't disrespect my daddy. I did not listen. I didn't, you know what I'm saying, said something behind his back, said something behind her back. We've done these things and we know they wrong when we do them, right? And then what happens is, you know what? At some point we say, you know what, God, I love you so much and I love myself enough to know that you gonna take care of me if I serve you. I'm gonna leave all this stuff alone. I'm not gonna sin no more. You make a conscious decision to do that. And then you live the rest of your life without sinning. And when you do that, the Most High God, you die, right? You die, everybody think you over, they gonna have your funeral. They gonna get telling lies like, oh, Philip is looking down on us from heaven right now, telling lies. You know what your butt really doing? You in the ground riding, your body falling apart. You ain't thinking about nothing. You dead, right? They gonna think, oh, just watch over me, Philip, because, you know, I know that you're up there. And I still love you. They talk their imagination. But that's what people do because it make them feel good. But in reality, you dead. Your skin is rotting, worms all over you, nasty, disgusting, you stink, right? Then what's gonna happen is years and years from now, the man gonna show back up. YAHUAH gonna show back up, right? He gonna show up and he gonna say, every person that's dead, that did what I told him to do, that lived the rest of their life without sinning, I'm gonna put you back together. And that sounds crazy to all of us, because we ain't never seen nothing like that before, right? We looking at that like, man, that sound crazy. That sound like a fairy tale. That sound like The Walking Dead, right? That's kind of how we thinking about it because we never seen it, right? But there's a whole lot of stuff we ain't seen. It's a long time ago that people never seen an airplane. You tell them about an airplane, guess what they'll say? That is crazy, right? What if I told you, who's seen a car that used gas? Who's seen a car that used electricity? Who's seen a car that use water? Well, I tell you, you can have a car, you could drive it. Water, only water. They got these cars though.
Didn't they kill a person that figured that out?
Huh?
Didn't they kill somebody that invented that or something like that?
I don't know, they might have. But they got what they call hydrogen cars. That's just water.
It just runs on water?
Mm-hmm. Big noise, it's a big old noisy thing too, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You do it, you put that thing, you know what I'm saying? That thing go. You take it on the freeway. That's what it sound like. Ain't nobody about to drive that thing. You know what I'm saying? They gotta work out the kinks first. Don't nobody want to drive no car that darn screaming at you the whole time you trying to go. You know what I'm saying? Especially me, you know what I'm saying? We like a car that rumble, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We want to hit the gas, that thing, you know what I'm saying? Then you driving next to somebody and they going faster than you. You know what I'm saying? You drive next to somebody, hey, you know what I'm saying? Nah, we ain't got time for that. You better sit your butt down, you know what I'm saying? But they got it. We would think that's unbelievable because we only seen gas cars, we only seen electric cars. We wouldn't have believed the electric car. Before the Tesla came out, we wouldn't have believed that.
Yeah, no.
Ain't no way you gonna have a car driving by itself. Oh, please. Nobody believe that fooling. And then Tesla come out, crashing people right in the truck, killing them.
Those cars are overrated.
They way overrated. They way overrated, right? But imagine that. Before it came, we think it's impossible. After it come, that's overrated. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing to us no more. That's how easily our minds change because we don't believe what we don't see, right? And that's why a lot of people don't believe the Bible because they ain't never seen none of this stuff. They ain't never seen nobody walk on no darn water. That's crazy. How you gonna walk on water?
I don't know.
How a man gonna come back from the dead?
I don't know.
None of that stuff makes sense to us. But guess what's gonna happen? God gonna show it to us. And as soon as he show it to us, it's gonna be just like what Angel just said. Oh, that's overrated. It become normal after that. We gonna see these miracles, we gonna see all this fantastic stuff that we never seen, and as soon as we see it, it be like, oh, no, that's old news. Everybody get raised back from the dead. You ain't seen that? You don't remember when YAHUAH showed up here and did that? That's normal to us. I need y'all, when y'all thinking about stuff, that y'all look at a pattern of facts. You're not gonna have the opportunity to see everything, right? You gotta look at a pattern of people being right about information, right? A pattern of documents and a pattern of people being trustworthy, right? That's where you put your faith. When there's a pattern of truth, a pattern of accuracy, right? Then you put your faith in there. It's like, okay, I can trust you. Always right. You be saying stuff, and every time you say it, it's right. Can't nobody prove what you be saying wrong. That's trustworthy. Can we do that with scientists?
No, because
What do scientists do?
They used to be like evolution, and then they changed their mind from
They
that.
figure things out. How did they figure it out? How did they start their process of figuring something out? Using a theory. What do they call that theory? They call it a hypothesis. See, he be paying attention in school. Class president. That's how you think you become class president? You got to pay a darn attention. What was your grades like?
My grades, they're okay.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, they're okay.
I tried.
I know everything. That don't mean they applying that thing.
That's good, but you're absolutely right? You start off with standard, right? What they supposed to do. Scientists be doing whatever they want to do nowadays, but standard, you would start off with a hypothesis. What's a hypothesis? What they teach y'all a hypothesis is?
Based on prior knowledge.
Yeah, they say it way cooler. You know what I'm saying? Back in our day, they just say educated guess. You know what I'm saying? A guess based off what you say?
Prior knowledge.
That's right. Well, that's it. That's what it is, right? You take information that came before. You gather that information. There's going to be some type of gap in that information. Then you question it and you say, if I add this or take this away, this will happen. That's your hypothesis, right? I have this. I see that there's like a little bit of Pope in here, right? I've never seen this drink without Pope. If I remove the Pope, the taste will stay the same, right? That's my hypothesis. So then my next step in scientific theory is what? After I have an hypothesis, I have to test it. How do I test it? By experiment, right? So I have something, I make an hypothesis, and then I experiment. My purpose of the experiment is to do what?
Gather information.
And that information will be used. He's bad, and that's a bad boy. That information should be used to do what?
Figure out.
Make new things.
Find out.
I have a hypothesis. My hypothesis is it's going to taste the same if I take all the Pope out. I'm validating my hypothesis. So I would take it out, right? There's no Pope in this thing anymore. My hypothesis is it's going to taste exactly the same. So I actually do that. That's my test. That's my experiment. I take it. I taste it. Then I'm going to have another one with the Pope in it. I taste it. I'm going to come to the conclusion that what?
It tastes the same.
Then what might I have to do? Because I tasted both of them.
You have to go. You gotta go. Somebody else. Go check something.
I might say, hey, DJ, now you taste them. Which one tastes better? DJ say, it tastes the same. Then I might go to the Angel and say, which one tastes worse? And he'll be like, it tastes the same. I'm gonna take it as a hard, silly button. He'll be like, I like the one with Pope in it. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna do it, and you're gonna do it, and you're gonna look at the results at the end of it, and you can be like, 9 out of 10 people told me it tastes the same. Right? I proved my hypothesis. That's science. You know what also happens in science? They be wrong.
Yes. They make mistakes.
They make mistakes and they wrong.
Go wrong.
Things can go wrong.
They could maybe blow up something.
They would have us believe, right? Oftentimes they would have us believe that science is more trustworthy than the Bible. Although science changes very often. You know why we didn't believe that a airplane could fly? Because science hadn't had an opportunity to have a hypothesis and test it and see it. So until that happens, guess what? It's impossible. And then it happens. That makes science wrong. Now you can't get that airplane until someone tests that hypothesis and figures out how to do it, right? But until that person has the faith to do that, science will say it's not possible. Let me tell you something about the book. They can't prove the book wrong. Right? Another form of science or kind of science is history. Right? Archaeology rather.
Yeah.
Right? So archaeology is based off of similar principles. You read information, this is prior knowledge, and then you say, I believe something will be there. If I start digging, I believe the ancient ruins will be there. That's your hypothesis. You go and you start to dig, that's your experiment. And then you find what you thought you were gonna find, or maybe you find something better, right? When they dig stuff up, every time they dig it up and it's related to the book, guess what it do? It proves the book right. There's people, like there's groups and communities of people that they thought didn't exist. They start digging around, they be like, oh, these people, this is the people that was talked about in the Bible. We thought that was just a fairy tale. We thought the Bible was just making up stuff, but it's historically accurate in what it talks about. It matches up with what they dig up, what other cultures wrote on the walls. So that's why we look at the Bible and we look to it and we try to make sure we understand it. This stuff sounds crazy. That's fine though, because everything sounds crazy until you see it. So now it's not, you can't judge what's right or wrong or what's true or not true based off of how stuff sounds. You have to judge it by who's the messenger, the original messenger, right? And do they have a record of accuracy? Do they have a record of being correct, right? If they do, then you wait to see what they say and let's see if it come to pass, right? And that applies to all life. That ain't just Bible. That applies to everything. You can't just trust people because they look good. I would never trust you because you got a darn do-rag on. I look like trusting somebody with a do-rag on. Right? Sometimes you gotta look. You can't just go based on how stuff look. You gotta take your time. You gotta say, okay, well, you know what? Angel just got all the questions right about science. So if he talking to me about science, guess what? All right, I hear you out. You start getting stuff wrong, then I'm like, all right, I'm done hearing you out. It's that simple. That's how you do it. You don't have to trust people. You don't have to give people everything you got. You just hear them out. Get information. See if stuff line up. Connect things. Challenge stuff in your mind, right? Because otherwise, these people, man, let me tell you something. This is a world full of liars. Everybody lying. And you know what's so bad? People don't even know they darn lying. Right? Let's keep going. Let's see. Something about, you know what I'm saying, your stones got crushed.
A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord.
What's a bastard? Don't y'all say it either. What's a bastard? What does the book mean when they say bastard? Anybody know?
Someone out of dad.
That boy's smart.
He just watch a lot of TV.
Oh, goodness gracious, that boy's sharp.
His mom is teacher. You know that, right?
Oh, that's what it is? That's cheating.
She doesn't tell me anything.
She doesn't tell me anything. Don't be doing your mama like that,
She
boy.
tells me to go do the dishes.
That's all y'all boys hear. All the stuff your parents do for you. All you hear is
all that
watch the
information,
dishes.
all this stuff come from her. You know what I'm saying? These kids, super underappreciated. No, but that's what happens, right? A bastard, the way the book is talking about it, is talking about what we would consider an illegitimate child. And you think of illegitimate as a child that didn't come about quite correctly, right? So a bastard might be a child that was born of somebody who you shouldn't have had a baby with, right? So with us, we about to learn about a group of people that we are never, when we come into our land, right? We've been reading it. We came from the wilderness, right? That's what we've been reading. We coming from the wilderness. And then we about to go into what land? Who remembers? The land of milk and honey. Very good, right? We going into the land of milk and honey, also called the promised land, right? So then when we get to the promised land, there was a group of people that was in the promised land before us that we were never supposed to marry. We was never supposed to have no kids with. We wasn't supposed to make no agreements with them, no contracts. Don't do no business with them. Don't mess with these people. The only thing we are supposed to do is tear down their idols, tear down their altars, tear down their high places, and kill them all. Women, children, men, everybody got to go, right? That was the instruction from God, right? So if we get over there, if somebody were to have a child by one of these people, that would then make the child illegitimate. Another way of saying an illegitimate child would be a bastard. So that would be an example of a bastard in this case, right? So let's see.
An Amorite or Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord, even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever. Because they met you not with bread and with water in the way when you came forth out of Egypt. And because they hired against you Balaam, the son of Beor, of Pethor, of Mesopotamia, to curse you. Nevertheless, the Lord thy God would not listen unto Balaam, but the Lord thy God turned the curse into a blessing unto thee, because the Lord thy God loved thee. You shall not seek their peace nor their prosperity all the days forever. Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, for he is your brother.
He said, thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, right? So an Edomite, you know what I'm saying? Edomite Esau was the brother of our father, Jacob, right? So we all of us that descend from the Israelites, we all come from Jacob, right? That's our great grandfather, right? So we come from Jacob. Jacob's brother, his name was Esau. And his kids, they called them Edomites, right? Now, we don't know exactly, me personally, I don't know exactly who the Edomites are at this point, right? This would just be a group of people, just like people call us black, right? The Edomites might be black too, or they might, you know what I'm saying, they might be in a different part of the world or whatever it might be, right? The problem is there's a group of our people that believe that white people are Edomites. And you know how they feel about these white people who they think are Edomites? They hate them. You know what this book just said? Thou shalt not abhor. Who knows what abhor means? If I say this is abhorrent. Let's see if you got this one. Wow, I'll lay down on this floor right now if you get this answer right.
Abhorring. Can you use it in a sentence?
Thou shalt not abhor the Edomite.
Abhorrent means hate, is hate.
Oh.
Abhor means hate, right? So if something is abhorrent to you, that means it's hateful, or not hateful, I guess that's not the right word, but it's something that you hate. You know what I'm saying? It's worthy of hate from you, right? So he's saying don't abhor an Edomite. In other words, don't hate an Edomite. However, these people, even though they think they keep the law. You know what I'm saying? They foolishly think that the white man is the Edomite, and they hate the white man. So not only is they wrong about who the Edomite is, right? But on top of that, they hate them against our book, even if they was right about it. Right? That's why it's very important when we start to bring ourselves to a point that we want to know God and we want to live our lives after the Most High God. It's important that we look into this book and we understand it, right? We read the book or we get taught the book in a way of understanding. It's not about just reading it to say you read it. It's not about trying to prove a point when you read it. There's a lot of people when even when I first started reading the Bible, there's a lot of people I used to talk to, and they would read it just to prove a point. They would read it just to win an argument. They'd go to something and they'd find anything in the Bible that like supported their thought process. And they'd say, look, see, this is how you do it. And one of the ways I used to get around that is because me and your Uncle T, we just read it all the way through, right? We wasn't looking to find anything specific in there. We started off just like, I just want to understand the thing. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. I'm just going to start at the beginning. He started at the beginning. I'll be like, oh, yeah, I'm starting next week. So we'd both just be reading through the Bible. He'd read it a lot faster than I would, right? And he'd be like, man, I'm about to start again. I'm like, oh, okay, well, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to start again a little bit too. And we just would read it over and over, year after year, reading it. So when we read it, we became familiar. Who's read the same book more than once before? What book you read more than once? Yes.
Comic books.
Comic books?
The first and second Harry Potter book.
First and second Harry Potter. How many times you read them?
Like twice, maybe.
Twice? So now, like, the second time you read it, you kind of know where everything is a little bit, right? Then the third time you read it, it's like, man, I know this like the back of my hand, right? Somebody could tell you, oh, you remember in the Harry Potter book, this so-and-so happened. You're like, yeah. Because, you know, you read the book or you read it like on the phone or something? The book, like the physical book. So you can probably remember, because the physical book, you can remember things a little bit better. You can probably remember, yeah, it was like that many pages left. Like it was like that thick when I was reading that part and it was on the left side of the page. That gotta be somewhere here and you can go through and you kind of remember it. That's how it is when you read the books. You become familiar with everything. Somebody can mention something and you can be like, no, I know what happened before that and I know what happened after that. So when people take stuff out of the book and they try to prove it, they just like, look, this says such and such in the Bible. God so loved the world. See, I told you God loves everybody. You can look at it and be like, nah, because right after that, it don't say God loves everybody. It say that anybody who does not do what he say and their deeds is evil, they are already condemned, right? So I can prove with that, oh, clearly God don't love everybody because he's telling you what's going to happen right here. But if you don't know the Bible and somebody just take one verse out of it, it'll make you believe that they know what they're talking about. That's why it's important when you start looking at the Bible, you start learning the Bible, you got to look at the whole thing. You got to understand it, right? But that goes with everything, right? I'll talk to people about who's ever heard of the religion Islam, Muslims, right? I'll talk to people with that. And you know what? If I'm going to hold a conversation with you, guess what? I'm going to read your book. So I done read through a lot of what they read is the Quran or the Quran, right? I done read through a lot of that just in order to have a conversation, not to look through their book and try to prove something to them. Like, oh, your book say this, you wrong. Nah, let me try to understand. I'm going to give it a fair shot. Let me make sure it makes sense. If it makes sense, I go. That's what we got to do. We got to seek to understand people and understand things. Otherwise, people will understand you more than you understand yourself, and they're going to get over on you. All right, keep going. Let's see.
Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because you was a stranger in his land. The children that are begotten of them shall enter into the congregation of the Lord.
Right now, you got Hebrews that be having these debates with the Kemet people, the Egyptologists. Now, these people, the Kemet people, the Egyptologists, they not Egyptians, right? They actually us, they Hebrews, a lot of them, some of them. You know what I'm saying? However, they think they're Egyptians and they still hate them, right? They hating them, they fighting them and doing all these other things. Books say we ain't supposed to do that, right? Keep going. Hebrew Israelites said all the law they talk about, man, they make a mess of this thing.
The children that are begotten of them shall enter into the congregation of the Lord in their third generation.
It takes 3 generations to. So when he's talking about the children entering in their third generations and all that, what he's saying is, my dad had me. That's 1 generation. I have Zahar. That's 2 generations.
You would be the second.
What?
You would be the second.
Your dad would be the second.
No, you
No,
would
I
be
would
the
be.
second. Your dad, you, then Zahar.
No, okay. But my third generation, I'm talking about my third generation. So I'm saying I'm 1.
Yeah, right.
Right? I'm 1 generation from my dad, right? Then you have Zahar, that's 2 generations, right? Then after that, Zahar grows up, gets married, has a baby, right? His baby would be the 3rd generation, right? And then from there, if we was Egyptians, he would be able to walk in. His child would be able to walk in. Before that, we wouldn't be able to congregate with the congregation to serve the Most High God. We kind of have to stand on the outside like, yeah, praise him. You know what I'm saying? From the outside, we couldn't get in the mix. All right, keep going.
When the host goes forth against your enemies, then keep thee from every wicked thing. If there be among you any man that is not clean by reason of uncleanness, that chances him by night, then shall he go abroad out of the camp, he shall not come within the camp. But it shall be, when evening comes, he shall wash himself with water. When the sun is down, he shall come into the camp. Thou shalt have a place also to go outside the camp, where you shall go forth abroad. And you shall have a paddle upon thy weapon. And it shall be, when you will ease thyself abroad, then shall dig therewith, and shall turn back and cover that which comes up from thee.
Right? You know what he's talking about? Read again. Let's see if who can figure out what he's talking about.
You shall have a place to go outside of the camp, where you shall go forth abroad.
Right? Remember, we all in tents. Right? All of us, we in tents. It's about 1 million of us, maybe more. Right? We sitting in tents, all our wives, children, kids, everybody all over the place. 1 million of us. Just imagine it's a whole lot of homeless people out there in LA, right?
Yes.
And you got something, what y'all call it?
Skid Row.
Is it Skid Row? What y'all call it where all the homeless people are?
Homeless shelter? Oh.
What y'all call it? Is it Skid Row?
Yeah.
We don't really call it.
You got you got a whole bunch. You look out there, it's a lot of them, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, all at once, it's like they all together.
Like it's a whole big bunch of tents.
Bunch of tents.
Yeah.
Imagine that times maybe, imagine that times maybe 50, right? It's nothing but tent. You just see a sea. It's like looking out in the ocean, it's just all tents, right? That's how we were, right? We covered a whole lot of ground, all tents. So that is what, when they say the camp, that's what it's talking about. Everybody who's kind of living amongst each other in tents. It was organized. We got our little separate sections where, all the different tribes, you know what I'm saying? You might be from Issachar, you might be from Judah, you might be from Naphtali, you might be from, you know what I'm saying? You might be from Benjamin, right? So all the different tribes is out there, right? And we separated in our own tribes, but it's one big old group of tents, right? Then from there, he's saying, you need to go outside the camp. So that means you'll take that long walk, go past all the tents, and get to the outskirts of the tents. And then look what he say do.
And you shall have a paddle upon your weapon.
So that means you're going to have a weapon and you're going to have a paddle upon your weapon. What's a paddle? Huh?
A paddle like to row a boat.
Yeah.
You might, you know what I'm saying? You might row a boat with a paddle. What else you might do with a paddle?
Hit somebody.
You might whoop some darn butt with a paddle. Back in the day, they used to whoop butts with paddles. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, they say teachers, you know what I'm saying? Before my time too. They say teachers, you know what I'm saying, used to whoop kids. They'd smack them on the hand with a paddle. So you take a paddle and smack them on the hand when y'all bad butt. See, that's why all they kids, who got bad kids in their class? Oh, every last one of y'all. Some of y'all the bad kids in y'all class. You know what I'm talking about? Right? Yeah, I know. Yeah, Andre, you definitely the bad kid in your class. I don't know what's wrong with you. We got to straighten you out. But that's all right. We're going to figure it out, right? But that's what happens, right? A lot of the kids wasn't as bad back then. You know why? Teacher, light that darn butt up. Smack that butt. That thing can't happen now. What happened if your teacher hit you?
Child abuse. Child abuse.
What else happened?
My mom.
What else
Yeah,
happened?
I would've got mad.
That's right.
No,
It's going down.
Mom, dad, what do you think? If your teacher hit you, what do you think your mama gonna do?
Lose the job. Teacher go lose the job. Oh, wait.
What do you? Hold on. Let me ask you, cause your mama peed. Let me tell you something. If your teacher hit you, what do you think your mama gonna
She's
do?
gonna call all the uncles, all of them, every last one of them, and then she gonna.
That's really
It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna
D just gonna be the driver.
If anything, you better stop. That's what happens though.
go down.
It's gonna. We gonna get mad because we not used to that, right? That we not conditioned for that, right? So that thing gonna change. So now you see things are a little bit different. That is a paddle though. A paddle is usually like this flat, you know what I'm saying, thing that you could scoop things with, you could row a boat with, you could smack somebody with. That would be a paddle, right? So he said your weapon should have a paddle on it. I want y'all to think about what he's talking about and what we're doing. Watch this.
And it shall be, when you will ease yourself abroad, you shall dig therewith, it shall turn back and cover that which comes from thee.
Right? So it shall be when you gonna ease yourself abroad. Abroad means on the outskirts. So when you outside of the camp and you ease yourself, right? You gonna turn around and you gonna cover what you ease yourself with. What is he talking about?
Taking a poop.
Boy, he talking about you sitting down on that thing, boy, you looking like that, cause we ain't had no toilets. You know what I'm saying? So we'd take our long walk, be like, hey Josiah, you got a newspaper? You know what I'm saying? Grab a newspaper from Josiah.
Probably wouldn't have
and we
newspaper.
walk, you know what I'm saying? Then walk, you know what I'm saying? We used to wear, you know what I'm saying? What we had the, you know what I'm saying? The book say we girdle our loins. You know what I'm saying? So what we have like what's called a tunic. So think of it like it ain't a dress, but think of it like a dress, right? It's open at the bottom, right? Then what you would do is you'll girdle your loins. So what you do, you'll wrap it. Think of it kind of like a diaper, right? You put it's like a belt, but it's a belt that goes underneath too. You know what I'm saying? Like a sports strap. You know what I'm saying? So you get it and you wrap it and it'll lift up your tunic. And so your tunic splits right here. You know what I'm saying? So you loosen that thing up on your way. You know what I'm saying? You're like, yeah, no, I'm about to head out here real quick. I'll be back. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody know what you're doing. Just like now, when you go to the bathroom, you tell people, man, I'm about to take a poop.
My family.
Nah, man, you just be like, nah, man, I'm about to, you know what I mean? No, I'm about to, you know what I mean?
My family do, bro.
TJ.
Let me just,
Because y'all be telling me to do something. I just gotta let y'all know how I'm using it.
you don't even be wiping your butt good. Boy, that ain't nasty,
Hey, let me
boy.
talk about myself.
That boy nasty. Goodness
Angel be talking in
gracious.
his sleep. I don't want to hear.
Because I've heard it one time in my sleep.
All right, everybody relax. Everybody relax. But that's what he talking about. So he walk out there, he go, take off the little thing, you know what I'm saying? And he drop it, boom, just like that. You know what I'm talking about? Then when he do that, he ease himself, right? You know how that is. You be like, and then all of a sudden, you know what I'm talking about? That's easing yourself. You know what I already know what I'm talking about. You ease yourself. Then you turn around, right? And there it is, right? Then what he's saying is you take that paddle
It's a shovel?
and you cover it up, just like a shovel.
Dig it up, like you dig it up.
You dig it and you cover it up, right? So what he's saying is you got to make sure that things stay clean. This is our Bible, right? Our Bible is trying to tell you, you got to keep stuff clean. You can't be in the middle of your camp taking a poop right next to your tent and then turn around and lay down. What's going to happen when somebody got to walk?
Step on it.
Now, what did it feel like you step on a grown man turd? You be to crack somebody's darn head open. Like, Hezekiah, knock you. You know what I'm saying? That's nasty, boy. Right? So the Most High God like, nah, man, we don't do no nastiness like this because guess who else got to walk around? Watch this. This Most High God talking. Watch this.
For the Lord thy God walks in the midst of thy camp to deliver thee.
Now, you think the Most High God want to step on a grown man poop? A grown woman poop? That's crazy. He said, I'll walk in the midst of thee. You better take your butt outside the darn camp. And you better turn that thing, you go ahead, ease yourself. Ain't nobody in your business, do what you gotta do. But after you do that, you take that darn paddle, you dig up a little bit of dirt and you cover it up. Don't nobody wanna see that mess. That's nasty, it stinks. Keep going.
For the Lord thy God walks in the midst of your camp to deliver you and to give up your enemies before you. Therefore shall your camp be holy, that he see no unclean thing in you and turn away from you.
Who know what holy mean? Come on, y'all gotta start remembering this stuff. What's holy?
Right.
set apart, separate,
Different.
right?
Not like everybody else.
Listen. Let me see if I can give me a good example. Look, these
Kinda,
two
but
batteries, right?
Not really.
These two batteries, right? They look exactly the same, don't they? Right now, they're unholy. You know why?
They're
look the
like
same.
one's upside and then the other one's like pointing downwards.
Why are they unholy?
Because one's pointing up and one's pointing down.
Now they're holy.
Because they're together.
Separated.
They separated. That's it. It don't matter what these things look like, right? Because they together and they doing the same thing, that make them unholy. As soon as they're separated,
That makes them holy.
holy, right? So that's how we are. The Most High God is calling us to be separate. The whole world, no matter what the whole world is doing, as long as the world is sinning, they all together, right? When you stop sinning, you become separate, holy. So whenever you see the book and it say holy, what are we gonna say? That's what?
Separate.
Separate, set apart, separate, set apart, all right? I need y'all to remember this stuff because this is important. You got to know what the book is talking about. A lot of people don't understand the book because they don't know what it's talking about, right? Y'all have an opportunity to learn it from somebody who knows what the book is talking about, right? Keep going.
You shall not deliver unto his master the servant which is escaped from his master unto you. Mm-hmm. He shall dwell with you, even among you, in the place which he shall choose in one of your gates.
Who heard
where
of
it likes
slavery?
him best. You shall not oppress him.
You my scholar. Tell me a little bit about slavery. What's slavery?
Slavery was when a whole bunch of people from America, or yeah, I guess in America, came to Africa, captured African Americans, and took them back to America and used them as free labor,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
and well, sold them around.
Who else? That about right? Anybody want to add anything to that? Jamar, you guys, you know what I'm saying? They teach you about slavery at your school? A little bit? What they be saying?
That's where you like. It's where like take another person and you keep them captive.
You force them to do what you want
Yeah.
to do.
Oh yeah,
Alright.
and forced them to change their religion too sometimes.
First them change their religion? Okay. Right?
We didn't know anything, so it's like we didn't know anything.
Did any of the slaves escape?
Yes.
Yes.
What happened to them?
They were either killed or they escaped to some states where they didn't allow slavery,
Like free states,
like Philadelphia.
Well, I got some stories for you. You know what I'm saying? But it's all right. But yeah, they typically would go up north because they feel like they had a better chance, right? They had a better chance in the north, you know what I'm saying, than they did in the south, where slavery was, let's just say it was just different in the north. You know what I'm saying? Things were just different in the north, and they feel like they have a better chance. It's much like nowadays that people might move to California. You know what I'm saying? Because they'd be like, people are not as racist out there. Although they are, right? It's just very different, right? It's different from the racism that you'll see down south. You know what I'm saying? You might go to New York and be like, no, I don't want to live. You know what I'm saying? I need to go to the big city. You know what I'm saying? Or even here, Las Vegas. And you might think, oh, people aren't racist here. They are. It's just it's more of a hidden racism. You don't, it's not in your face. It's not like somebody gonna walk out every day and call you a coon or an N-word or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? It's a different level. They just gonna treat you and you're not even gonna notice that they treating you different. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get so used to it. So that's what would happen with slavery. They would escape, and if they got caught, they would kill them, right?
Chop off a leg or foot or something.
Yeah, and then one of the ways, exactly. How do you think some of them got caught?
Someone told them.
Some of them, somebody told on them, right? It's exactly how it would happen.
Or they would
Some-
get tracked.
Huh? Or they get tracked,
Track them.
right?
or some of the slaves go looking, some of the slave owners go looking for them.
Or they go look for them. They might track them, or they might start asking people like, hey, you seen that boy? You know what I'm saying? Running around by YAHUAH? You know what I'm saying? You seen him? You seen him, you let me know, right? And then somebody will find him and be like, oh, yeah, I just seen, actually, he hiding out in my backyard right now. I told him he could do that. I didn't know where he came from, but that's him, right? But look at our law. Who's ever heard, I don't know if y'all heard this, y'all might be young, y'all might not have nobody talking like this to y'all, but who's ever heard like the Bible is where the white folks got slavery from? Anybody ever heard anything like that? No? Well, that's one of the things that they say. Y'all haven't heard it yet. Y'all gonna hear it though as y'all get older. Y'all gonna say, like, they gonna say that the Bible is where people got slavery from. And that's another one of them things that people just say stuff, but they never read the Bible, they don't understand it. But listen to what our book, right? Our book is saying about slavery. This is what it's talking about right now. It's talking about slavery. Watch this.
You shall not deliver unto his master the servant which is escaped from his master unto you.
So if you got a slave that escaped, our book says you shall not do what?
Deliver unto his master the servant which is escaped.
You can't take the escaped slave back to his master. So you remember you just said that sometimes the slave master go out looking for him. Well, guess what? If you found the escaped slave, the one thing, the Most High God is telling you, you cannot take him back to the master. Right? That's not what these people did, was it?
Zahar, tell him turn the TV down.
That's not what these people did, was it? What these people did is they snitched it out. Nah, that boy ran that way. He ran that away. That's how they talk. You know what I'm saying? He ran that away. Right? No, if it's our book, it ain't none of your business. He in my house right now. You can't have him either. Watch what he say next.
He shall live with you.
He shall do what?
He shall live with you.
So if a slave escaped and he run to your house, guess what?
Roommate.
That got that. That's our law. That's not like a suggestion. What we reading right now, this is not like, oh, this is how you become a good person. No, that's not what we reading. What we reading is, if you don't do this, you're punished. Imagine the police rolling by and they will hold you accountable to what's being said right now. That's what it's like. Just like the law say, don't cross the street without the, you know what I'm saying, the street light being this, or, you know what I'm saying, don't shoot nobody, or don't do this and don't do that. That's the law of America in Las Vegas, right? What is going to be the law of the Israelites. So when we were in our land, if you got caught and a slave came to you and he escaped and you didn't let him stay at your house and he wanted to, that's on you. You would be punished for that, right? Watch this.
He shall live with you, even among you, in that place which he shall choose in one of your gates, where it likes him best. You shall not oppress him.
So he's saying, the book is saying that wherever he want to stay, that's where we can stay. Right? He gets to choose it. He could be like, man, I think I want to stay there. He said, the book say wherever it likes him best. So in other words, he's looking around like, boy, that boy got a pool. I want to say where the pool is. Right? And the book say he got to stay there, and you got to help him out. Right? That's the compassion that the Most High God required of us. We had to help people out. Right? We couldn't return people back to their master. If he ran away from his master, what that mean?
His master was probably mistreating.
Is something wrong there? Something's wrong there. So now you free. You over here. You can stay with me. Right? Keep going. Watch this.
There shall be no whore among the daughters of Israel, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel.
That's right. That means homosexuality. You know what I'm saying? Y'all call it gay and all that, you know what I'm saying, when y'all talk about it and everything. Right? LGBTQP, LLGGT plus pleat, you know what I'm saying? All that weird stuff. It's super confusing, right? But that's what it's about, right? A lot of that stuff is about confusion. That's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? They try, you know, they try to do it. They try to teach you, who heard about gender? Have y'all learned about gender? No, gender? They don't teach y'all about gender? What's a gender?
Different, like,
A boy?
The gender is what
Boy and a girl.
separates you from the male and female, basically. Or the gender
Oh,
is,
they didn't teach me
Is-
that.
oh, I know.
gender is a term between what body parts you were born with.
Okay. They ain't got to you yet. You know what I'm saying? You right, though. They ain't going to tell you right.
Like, you're a girl and you're like, you act like a boy.
That's what they would tell you gender is, right? So what they gonna tell you, I'm gonna teach you what they gonna tell you. What they gonna tell you is gender is your behavior, right? Gender is how you act. The stereotypical girls wear dresses and like pink and love flowers. That is your gender, right? Boys like trucks and like to be dirty and they like to play sports. That is your gender, right? That's what they're gonna tell you. Then you know what the other one they gonna say is sex, like your sex. Your sex is the body part. So you are a male. You're of the male sex, or you're of the female sex.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I think it says sex, and it's gonna say
M or F.
M or F.
It's not gonna like have the pronouns and all that either. So.
Yeah, not yet. Maybe one day they will. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man, that's gonna.
So you see that stuff, and that's what it is. Really, historically, there's no such thing or difference between gender and sex. That was created. That was created later to justify the confusion, right? Because if you start off, it's two things that's going on, right? There's sexual preference, right? And sexual preference is talking about when a man likes another man versus liking another woman, right? That would be homosexuality. A man liking another man or a woman liking another woman, right? That's homosexuality, right? So they would call that's the L, lesbian, B, bisexual, G, right?
Gay.
And that's gay. That covers the same sex, right? I'm having a sexual preference of the same type of person as me, right? Then the rest of them have nothing to do with that. The rest of them are literally just confusion, right? You could be a person that's trans. Oh, I want to dress like a girl or be a girl, but I'm really a man, right? And you can have all the other one, pansexual, all this other stuff that I don't even know nothing about. All that's all the made up stuff, right? And the first part is just homosexuality. I can shorten that. Look, I can shorten the whole pronoun. I can show all that stuff up. You know how I tell it? You're darn gay.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I'm about?
Oh, y'all
You know what I'm saying? Your butt is darn nasty. You know what I'm saying? Why don't you sit your butt down? Just hold on to yourself. Do what you're supposed to do. Get married to the opposite sex until then. But that's what it is, right? But it don't stop. We look at that stuff, and it's funny and it's loud because it's confusion, right? So it's good. But y'all got to know, you in the exact same position. All y'all young boys and young lady, y'all in the exact same position when y'all get to a point, and some of y'all already at a point where you start liking on these girls or liking on the boys, and y'all want to do something inappropriate with them. That's the same type of sin as homosexuality. It's the same sin because with the Most High God, we're not supposed to take those steps with a person until it's appropriate. The only way it's appropriate is one, it's the opposite sex. Two, you are married to the person. That's important, and you're going to understand it's important. We done made mistakes in our day, but I'm telling you, we pay for them. We pay for them later in our life. What's important is that you learn how to make a commitment to a person. That's what marriage is, right? You get in front of somebody, you look them in the eye, and you say, you know what? I'm down for you. Not because, oh, you make my stomach bubble every time I see you. You just make me feel so good. Because you know what's going to happen? One day they not going to make you feel so good. Who's ever heard of a couple having an argument? Right? Where you hear about an argument at? What? What? But that's what happened. We argue all the time, don't we? We be throwing stuff at each other.
Y'all had an argument today.
We did? What?
About trash.
Oh yeah, that was a little argument.
Oh yeah.
Y'all be looking at light argument. That ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? What?
Say you and Anaka argue.
Everybody, we argue, right? That's part of marriage is arguing, right? When you arguing, guess how you don't feel?
Good.
Happy. Good.
You do not feel in love, right? Your feelings, the internal thing that make you, you know what I'm saying? You don't get that tingle in your spine. Who liked the girl already or like a little boy so far? Oh, no, nobody want to admit that, huh? Yeah, you didn't like somebody. You didn't like, you know what I'm saying? Who didn't like text a little girl? You text her and she tell you something like, I can't wait to see you tomorrow. How that thing make you feel? You be like, oh, yeah. You know, that thing make you feel good, don't you? You be looking like, oh, I got her, yeah. Yeah. It's all right. You know what I'm saying? You can't avoid it. We all going, you know what I'm saying? You can't avoid it. That's how it make you feel, right? Guess what happens when you start arguing? You do not feel that way. Like, I do not want to talk to you right now. Leave me alone.
27 days.
Guess what's gonna happen guess what happened when they do something that's unexpected, right? You thought they would never do something, and they do it. Guess how that's gonna feel? Oh, that's gonna hurt. Heart gonna be a little crushed. Why would you told me that you would never. You cheated on me. When I specifically asked you not to.
But I specifically said.
Right? Those are the type of things that happen. Guess what? When you're talking about the Bible, when you talk about marriage, you work through all of that. All of it. Because your commitment is not based off of how you feel in the moment. Your commitment is based off of a decision. I've made a decision. I'm a man, and I've made a decision that no matter what happens, I'm going to stick by your side, and we're going to make it through it. And it's that type of commitment that keeps us from making mistakes. Because a person has a different level of support. It ain't wishy-washy. This world, what they'll try to get us to do is to base everything off of our feelings. But since our feelings change, that's why our relationships change so much. That's why people get together and they break up and they love each other and then they hate each other, because it's all feelings. You can't let your feelings rule you in anything that you do. What I tell you all the time about your feelings. Control your emotions. You gotta control your emotions. You can't let your emotions rule you, because your emotions change. You know it. Your emotions change all the time, all day. You feel good, you feel bad, you feel sad, you feel happy, it all day is changing based off of anything that happened to you. You see something, it make you sad. You see something else, it make you happy. You done forgot you were darn sad. You so happy you never knew you was sad. Then you sad again. Now you mad because this person said something to you. You almost knocked them out. After you knocked them out, and everybody's like, damn, you knocked them out. Now you happy. Like, man, everybody saw I knocked them out. That's how we used to live. And we're a victim to our emotion. Now I'm not even living my life. I'm just doing stuff based off of emotion, getting myself in trouble and going and living in cycles. We can't do that. You have to stop. Think about what's going on. Think about what the right thing is to do. And then you say, my emotions got to stand behind. I'm about to do what I want to do here. I'm about to do the right thing. Right? That's the same thing you got to do in a relationship. That's the same thing you do in marriage. That's how you stay away from homosexuality. That's how you stay away from getting yourself in trouble, messing with these little girls, these little boys too soon, right? You make a commitment, you restrict yourself, you keep yourself, you make a commitment, you make sure it's something special. And then you'll be able to make something last. You just make sure
you go a long way.
You take your time with these little girls, man. You go ahead, listen, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna be a man out here in these streets, you got to learn this book, and you got to teach, because a lot of people don't know this stuff. I ain't gonna say you're not. Chances are, though, you're not going to meet nobody that has a daughter and they raised her in the word. So it's going to be y'all choice. It's going to be y'all choice and y'all responsibility to learn the book and then lead whatever woman you find to the book. And then male, you're going to be different, right? Because it's not appropriate for you to teach a man a book, right? So you going to have to learn the book, right? And then you're going to have to be like, yo, you know what I mean? I got somebody, you know what I'm saying, that can teach you the book if you want to learn it. And you just got to hope he want to learn. But then when you find a gentleman who do want to learn and do want to live in that lifestyle, well, then now you can submit yourself to him, right? But that's how it ought to be. That's how you got to protect yourself from a lot of the heartache, a lot of the mess, a lot of the wasted time, a lot of the, you know what I'm saying, a lot of the split households, all this stuff that we've gotten ourselves into that we got to try to fix and we got to try to figure it out, right? All that stuff, you don't want that stuff on your shoulders. There's a lot to carry. It's a lot you got to deal with. You know what I'm saying? You can avoid it. You know what I'm saying? Just by making the right decisions up front. Keep going. Watch this.
You shall not bring the hire of a whore or the price of a dog into the house of the Lord thy God for any vow. Mm-hmm. For even both these are abomination unto the Lord thy God. Mm-hmm. Thou shalt not lend upon usury to your brother.
All right? If it's our brother, we can't even charge interest. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times you get a credit card, you take a loan out from a bank, and all that, the way that they make their money is they charge you interest. Who know how interest work? A little bit? The way interest work usually, typically, not all the time,
I don't remember nothing I tell you.
The way interest work typically is they're going to charge you what's called an APR. APR stands for annual percentage rate.
Yes, I did, boy.
Right? Annual percentage rate. What an annual percentage rate is it gives you a calculation of how much interest would be charged in a year based off of what balance you have. What percentage of the balance would be charged to you based off of the balance you have. So let's say you got 25% interest, right? That's high, by the way. You know what I'm saying? 25% APR, right? And you have a credit card, right? Your credit card has a credit limit of $1,000. Okay? So $1,000 is the credit limit. You have an APR of 25%. What would end up happening is if Zahar took that credit card and he charged it up and he maxed his credit card, and let me tell you who Zahar is, because I don't know if y'all know Zahar. Zahar is 1,000% the person who will max his credit card out buying candy and stupid stuff, right? He runs the card up. He spent $1,000 on this card. Now, that $1,000, is it his or somebody else's? It's somebody else's. Very good. So he got to pay back the $1,000. But then he also has an APR of 25%. So on top of that $1,000, if he kept that $1,000 for a full year and hadn't paid it back for a full year, how much would he owe?
$250.
He owe $1,250 because he didn't pay for a year. So what the APR measures is if you have that balance for a full year, this is what percentage of that balance you would be paying in a year, right? And then you're charged that APR monthly based off of your credit card statements, right? So whenever you get in a credit card, that's what you have to think about. Whenever you get in anything, when you get into buying a car, your credit card, you get into buying a house, anything like that, you look at your interest rate and you look at the APR, right? And that's gonna kind of give you a determination of how much money you really spending. And you can do the calculation based off of that. Be like, okay, if my APR is 10%, then great, I have this 10% plus this, the term of the loan is 5 years, so 10% plus that's my interest. And that's what I'm dealing with, okay? Let's keep going. So if in our land, we couldn't charge our brothers usury. We couldn't charge our brothers interest. If I loan you $5, guess how much you paying back to me?
It's downstairs.
$5. If I loan you $10, how much you paying back to me? Because you my brother, you of my people. Now, if I go get, sorry, man, we ain't talking about this, but if I go get the white man down the street and I loan him $5, this ain't racism, by the way, right? It ain't racism. This is just our law. Our law says we have to deal with our people differently than what we deal with outsiders. So don't think of it as like race. Think of it as territory, right? So think of it like this. In America, if you are an American citizen, right, you can get unemployment. You lose your job, you can get unemployment if you're an American citizen. If you're not an American citizen, can you get unemployment?
No.
No. That benefit is not afforded to you, right? So that's how we look at it. If we look at as Israelites, people that are Israelite people, right, and born as Israelites, we have certain benefits by being an Israelite by birth, right? Now, if you just a foreigner, an immigrant, right, in Israel, then it's a little different. You here, right, and you get some benefits, but I can charge you usury if I want to. You ain't from here. You know what I'm saying? You wasn't born here. You know what I'm saying? You wasn't born here and you wasn't born of our people, right? So I can charge you usury in that case. I can charge you interest. Keep going, watch this.
You shall not lend upon usury to your brother. Usury of money, usury of victuals, usury of anything that is lent upon usury. Mm-hmm. Unto a stranger you may lend upon usury, but unto your brother you shall not lend upon usury. Mm-hmm. That the Lord thy God may bless thee in all that you set your hand to in the land where you go to possess.
That's right.
When you shall vow a vow unto the Lord your God, you shall not slack to pay it. For the Lord your God will surely require it of thee, and it would be sin in thee. Mm-hmm. But if you shall forbear the vow, it shall be no sin in thee. Mm-hmm. That which is gone out of your lips, that shall keep and perform. You shall keep and perform. Even a freewill offering according as you have vowed unto the Lord your God, which thou hast promised with thy mouth. Mm-hmm. When you come into thy neighbor's vineyard, then you may eat grapes thy fill at thine own pleasure. Mm-hmm. But do not put any in thy vessel.
Right? So what he's saying is, if you walking around, right, this is how the Most High God had our land set up. If you, right now, let's say somebody got like a lemon tree, right? They got a lemon tree. My next door neighbor, I think he got a lemon tree in his front yard. It hadn't like started growing lemons yet, but let's pretend it has lemons on it. And I walk by and one of y'all, let's say one of y'all, because he'll probably let me do it. One of y'all, you know what I'm saying, y'all walk into a yard and y'all start just picking a lemon off his tree. You know what I'm saying? You start peeling it, you know what I'm saying? And you good, you throw it away, you don't litter, you know what I'm saying? You throw it away in the proper place. Then you just start eating the lemon, right? You know what I'm saying? Just like that and walk, that thing good. You know how y'all eat lemon, like that, you start eating the lemon. How you think he gonna feel?
Mad because he took his lemon.
Irritated.
You stole his lemon. What might he do if you keep going to his lemon tree?
Probably gonna stop.
What crime is that?
He worked so hard to get them lemons just for you to eat them.
Intrude. No, that's
Theft. What's another one? Intrusion. Trespassing. Very good, right? It's trespassing, right? Well, our law is different. Our law is we would often have fields, right? You ever like seen a farm or anything and they got like all this food growing on their farm? So we would have fields, of food growing on our farm. Our law says that it is perfectly legal to walk through a person's yard or walk through a person's field and pick any of the fruit from they field. So Angel worked hard all year to grow this stuff. TJ can walk right in and pick one. But if TJ got a bag with him and TJ start picking stuff and putting it in his bag,
he would do that.
that's against our law. But if TJ just walking through and he just grab it and just grab one and eat it, or maybe he even grab two as he's walking through and he grab it and eat it, he can do that all day. Right? But you can't store it up for later. Why do you think that is in the law?
No, you take it all, you know what I'm saying?
One is hoarding, right? One is taking, is being greedy. You're not just, hey, I'm hungry right now, I need something to eat and it's available to me, right? Now you trying to store it up and save something for later, you're a greedy, nasty butt, right? It's okay, just take, if you hungry, go ahead and take something and eat and just keep going, right? Our law set it up because there's a lot of poor people, right? Right now, poor people, you gotta go to a food bank and people gotta give you stuff. No. The way it was is, you poor, you don't have to feel no shame. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody know you poor. You just walk through, grab, eat it, period. Nobody asks you any questions, nothing. You hungry, you walk through the field, you get you something to eat and you go. Now, if you know everybody is like that, you don't feel the need to have to hoard anything because you know at any time it's gonna be a field around me. If I ain't got nothing to eat, I'm just gonna go over there and get it. I ain't gotta try to hold on to it and save something for tomorrow because I know I might not have a field to pick from tomorrow. No, that ain't the case. Just walk through. The Most High God made us a generous people. That's how we supposed to be. We supposed to be looking out for one another. We supposed to be loving one another. That's how it's supposed to go, right? And real love, not that fake love, like, oh, Max, I love you a lot, but I'm not gonna do anything for you, right? That's not, we talking about real love. Real love, you know what I'm saying? It might not sound like real love, right? Real love, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes real love, it may not look like what these people tell you love is. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? I may not ever look at you, may not ever say nothing to you, but guess what? Anything you need is provided for you. It's gonna be taken care of because your needs are met. That's what real love is about. It's about meeting people's needs. Not their wants, not their desires. It's about their needs, right? You cannot survive without these things, and I will make sure that you have them. Right? Keep going, let's see.
But you shall not put any in your vessel. When you come into the standing corn of your neighbors, then you may pluck the ears with thine hand, but you shall not move a sickle unto your neighbor's standing corn.
What's up?
We're on 24.
We're on 24. That's all, just 24?
Yeah, you did a lot of monologuing.
Goodness gracious.
When a man has taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes.
Oh, no. We're going to have to read this next week. There's another monologue coming right now. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot, right? We're going to go from there. Hold on, though. We got a lot more to talk about, though.
Yeah,
Y'all been paying attention to stuff that's going on in the world?
let's read this chapter.
Huh?
You don't want to read the chapter?
No, not this one. We're going to have to cover that one next week. Y'all been paying attention to a lot of stuff that's going on in the world? Kinda. Not really. There's a lot of stuff going on around us, right? It's a lot of stuff going around. One of the sisters, Sharon, she sent me a message about a thing called CERN, I think it's called. CERN, and it's science, it's like we were talking about before. And they putting together an experiment to find something that they call the God particle, right? And they've been doing this for years. I remember reading about it a few years back. They got a new version of it that she sent me. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to create a black hole, right? Y'all heard of a black hole like in movies and stuff. So there's a theory, there's a scientific theory that the world as we know it was created because of a big bang, right? So there was a spontaneous combustion where something somehow made all of the world, right? So it blew up, light showed out and things evolved, and all of a sudden you got humans and monkeys and bears and cats and rocks and water and all types of stuff just going around, right? So y'all believe that? That makes sense to y'all? Huh? That makes sense, kinda? Yeah, that makes sense to you? A little bit, kinda? Why it makes sense?
Have you ever seen an explosion create anything?
You ever seen anything blow up before?
Yes.
Yeah? You saw something blow up before? You ever heard of the Big Bang Theory?
Sorta.
Sorta. Where'd the world come from?
World came from a mass, what's it called? A star. Yeah, like a star imploding. And like it was a big explosion and then created the universe.
Okay. So you seen an explosion before?
An explosion, yeah, like a small one.
Yeah. It ever create anything?
No. Destroyed it.
Destroy some stuff, right? Have anybody ever seen anything explode and then something anything was created from it?
Fireworks.
A hole, right? It make a hole, right? You know what I'm saying? It'll mess something up. You know what I'm saying? You ever seen like some rocks and lava? Right? Anybody ever see anything created from an explosion? No? Smoke, right? You see smoke, fireworks.
More fire.
Yeah, but that makes sense to us, right? Because the reason why this makes sense to us is because we trust we trust when people sound smart, right? So if somebody come to us being like, oh, but there was a star, and that star, it imploded. What does implode mean? Fell on itself, right? So that means this star, right, which they would say is a burning thing of fire, came together, and it didn't come out and explode. It came together, collapsed on itself, and sucked everything in. Then somehow from that process, beams of light came out. And guess what the beams of light turned into? Somehow it turned into dirt and water, and the water turned into algae, and the algae turned into a darn cat, right? Yeah, exactly. That's where it started getting fuzzy, right? If you have to play this stuff out, right? How did this happen? We started with a star that imploded. Somehow that turned into you.
Yeah.
Right? They show you the picture, don't they? They show you the picture, and you got a monkey, right? Then a monkey take like 3 steps, and then the monkey turned into like, you know what I'm saying? Like a
weird man ape?
Like a monkey man.
Humanoid.
Then he take more, and then he's less of a monkey and more of a man. Then a few more steps, and by the time he a white dude, you know what I'm saying? And he just walking down the street,
Butt naked.
So now you gotta ask yourself, have I ever seen a monkey turn into a white dude? But it makes sense to us when they show us, like, dang, that makes sense. We do kind of look like monkeys.
That thing was always weird to me.
Y'all know where that came from? That theory, that idea?
No.
It was a racist man. His name was Darwin.
Charles
Darwin.
Charles Darwin.
Charles Darwin, right? You learned about Charles Darwin. Did they tell you he is racist?
Yes, they told me he was racist, and what's it called?
I never heard
He was he did incest.
Yeah, that's another thing he did, right?
All the kids he had were what's it called? Born mentally, not mentally, physically and mentally deformed.
Yeah, that's the excuse they give him. Now he's just a nasty, retarded man, a crazy man, right? But that's what happens, right? We still hold on. Do he sound trustworthy to you?
No.
We still hold on to all of his or a lot of his theories, right? Who ever heard of Hitler? Guess who Hitler got his ideas from? Charles Darwin. Right? These are things that they don't teach us, right? So Charles Darwin's theory was, well, it must be evolution. You know why? Because the white man is sophisticated. The black man is just like an ape. So the black man is the one that's closer to the ape than the white man. Therefore, guess what's okay?
Slavery.
Slavery is okay, right? Because you're not enslaving a human being technically. He's not a fully developed human being. It's an animal. Meanwhile, guess who they learned all their math from?
Black people.
They learned it from us.
Hebrews.
They went and visited Africa
Egyptians, Hebrews, Assyrians.
and tried to
Babylonians.
understand how to count from us. But then turn around and lie on us and say that we animals, right? To justify what they wanted to do. These are the theories that this stuff comes from. That's where evolution comes from. This idea that this becomes that, this becomes that. Well, you've never seen a monkey. You see a monkey, right?
Yes.
A whole bunch of monkeys. If we want to go to the zoo, we'll see a whole bunch of monkeys, right? And if we want to see human beings, we can look anywhere and see human beings, right? Why we can't see the ape man that's dragging his darn knuckles in the middle of the, you know what I'm saying, start at a monkey and the end at a human, right? Why we can't see the ones that's in the middle? What zoo they at? You never seen the ones in the middle, have you?
What?
Because they didn't exist. They didn't exist. It's not real, right? But this is the stuff that these people teach us. They teach us about the Big Bang Theory. They teach us about all these different things. It doesn't line up as fact. So what they're trying to do right now, CERN, they're trying to recreate that imploding star, that Big Bang, that big explosion, right? They're trying to find the God particle that would then create the black hole that is just like the implosion of the star. And they figure by doing that, they can then recreate evolution and recreate life and learn more, right? That's their theory. Now, in Revelation, you know what I'm saying? Now, we don't know if this is what's about to happen, who knows? But in Revelation, it talk about a bottomless pit being opened up and stuff coming out of that pit. So these are the types of things that we watch and we pay attention to. I'm fully convinced it'll turn out to nothing. These people gonna spend all this money, run this machine, and that thing gonna crap out just like it did 4 years ago. And I'm fully convinced nothing is gonna come of it, right? However,
Sorry, machine, what machine?
it's a machine called, it's a group called CERN. They got a machine.
Oh, in Switzerland.
In Switzerland, yeah. They got a machine and they try to run. That's a smart darn boy. You know what I'm saying? That's a smart darn boy, right? But they got this machine running. They trying to create this black hole, right? Those are
Open like a portal.
They're open. Exactly. They calling it a portal. It's really a black hole, but yeah, to make it sound cool, they calling it a portal. But you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's the type of stuff we gotta keep our eye on. What else is going on around the world? I want y'all to be aware of stuff that's happening because y'all got young minds, and it's stuff that y'all not aware of, and people gonna talk to y'all because they don't expect y'all to be aware of it. But y'all getting older, y'all old enough now that y'all got to start looking at the world differently, and you got to start deciding how you gonna shape your life, right? Who heard about the I can't remember his name. It's a white dude. Yeah, him too. But it's a white dude. He shot and killed. What happened?
So it was a 4th of July parade and he shot people.
Yeah, right. Where was it?
I don't know.
It's in Chicago. Yeah, it's in Chicago. And he shot up a bunch of people, right?
Superstore.
That's what the dude at the wall was telling me.
Yeah, that's right.
They telling you about the dude in Chicago?
No, it was some kid were playing basketball. He was like, "Do you hear what happened in Chicago?" We're like, "No." And he told us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he shot up a whole bunch of people. It was a little white boy, right? And so now what you had a world that is trying to blame, you know what I'm saying, what he did on one side versus the other. It's two sides, like gangs. You know about gangs, don't you, a little bit, maybe, right? So it's about gangs. You got the Crips and the Bloods usually. You got a bunch of Mexicans where you at too, huh? Yeah, a whole bunch of Mexicans. But you know what I'm saying? But you got, you know what I'm saying? You got Crips and Blood. Well, you got Democrats and Republicans too. And so that is very similar. It's gangs, right? They work together sometimes, and sometimes they work against each other. Sometimes they working against us. Sometimes they working for us, right? And what happened was you have Donald Trump, which a lot of people like, a lot of people don't like, right? And so you had Donald Trump. Donald Trump had rallies. And this kid, this white boy, shot up all these people. He has a picture at a Donald Trump rally. So you have people on one side saying, see, he's a Donald Trump supporter. He shot some stuff up. And then you got people on the other side saying, no, he was making fun of the Donald Trump supporters. He actually was wearing a shirt that represents the other side, right? And so it's that back and forth, right? Guess what happened to this young man?
Nothing. They probably called him mentally unstable and said this.
Now, I don't want y'all to guess. If you don't know, I don't want you to say nothing, right? We gotta speak facts, right? Who knows what happened to him? Is he dead?
I don't think so.
What happens if you have a gun and you kill a whole bunch of people? What do you think the police gonna happen? You might get shot.
Yeah.
You'll go to jail. You might get sentenced to death, right? He probably will get sentenced to death. He was apprehended. Apprehended means the police picked him up, right? The police got him, and they call it without incident, meaning that he didn't shoot at them, they didn't shoot at him, everybody alive, right? Well, recently something else happened. There was a black man, right? All this happened around the same time. It was a black man. He driving his car. Police came behind him.
Stopped him.
They wanted to pull him over. He kept driving. Matter of fact, he got on the freeway. Guess how fast he is going on the freeway? Who knows how, like, what's fast if you're on the freeway?
80 is fast.
80 is fast.
20,
100. 120, 160. 120, 160, that's fast. 100 fast, right? 80, if somebody just on the freeway, they not running from the police, how fast might they be going?
60,
65, probably 70. Depending on the speed limit.
Boy, I'm going 80. Y'all make me feel.
55,
52.
I go about 65, 70.
I'm going 80 every time.
What do you mean I drive slow?
You drive like you drive the bus.
I don't drive slow.
You do.
You're not
Well, everybody say I drive slow.
You need
My
to
mom
be
is
in the
so
car
right.
left lane.
Remember when you guys?
I drive slow.
Yes, when you guys came out to LA and we were driving David Buster's, you were so far behind. My mom, we were all like,
That's because people in LA can't drive. People in LA can't drive.
No,
That's
you
what
drive
that is.
slow.
Whatever.
G-Grand drives faster than me. G-Grand drives faster than me.
How fast I'll be going on the freeway?
I barely drive.
That's because y'all not. That's because y'all not professionals. Y'all ain't got no restraint. I'm a professional driver.
I go
You're a
set.
professional bus driver.
You go 75, 80 miles an hour maybe. This gentleman, he ended when he was running from the police though. He went 80 miles an hour. He didn't get into a car crash. He got 80 miles an hour. Then eventually, he decided to stop his car. He slowed down, right? He jumps out of the car, and then he runs. He slows down, almost brings the car to a stop. The car's still rolling a little bit though. He jumps out of the car, he takes off running, right? The police get out of the car, and they start chasing him. He's running away from them. And guess what they do?
Shoot him.
How many times?
3.
3 times? 9 times?
They overthink. I just have a feeling. I just
Why
have
is it 3 times in the leg? Like, you probably
Four
didn't
times?
know
No.
your kids on there or something.
Nah, this is not like the movies. No, I give it probably like 15.
15?
a good. You're like, you're on the leg, and then you start.
No, they overdo it.
Nah,
They overdo it because they're judging based off of skin.
100.
That's what I said.
Almost 100 times. Almost 9. So they shot him 90 times. They shot at him 90 times. He got hit 60 times.
Wow.
One person, no weapon on him, no threat to officers, right? So what this highlights at the same time is that you have black people, right, that are often policed a lot more harshly, right, without mercy, right, with no benefit of doubt, right, and with fear, right. So they're trained to fear us. They're trained to see us as a threat. And so what happens is, even though we're running away, the sense of threat is so large that I'm gonna shoot. And guess what happens? Even after he's shot, he's hit 60 times. Guess what happens next?
They're gonna make it seem like he was the threat. He was the
Definitely, right? But what happens next?
He died.
He definitely dead.
Well, definitely, yeah.
He definitely dead, unfortunately, right? But what happens after that?
Don't get in trouble.
The police
They got off scot free.
We're gonna see what's gonna happen to them. But they walk over and they put the young man in handcuffs after he's dead.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
These are the things, right,
Like, what an idiot.
that y'all have to be aware of.
Whose idea was that?
Y'all have to understand that these are the things that's happening, that you have a white young boy around the same age. He kills a bunch of people in Chicago. Hurts and kills a bunch of people in Chicago. He gets brought in without incident. You have another white boy in Buffalo, New York, that kills a bunch of black people. He gets brought in without incident. Police bring him in, put him in handcuffs, he get to go to court. Now, they gonna do life in prison,
Yeah.
right? They probably gonna do life in prison. But at least he gets to live,
Yes.
right? These are people who kill, murders, multiple people. Mass shootings is what they call them. However, a young man on a traffic stop, he ran from the police, sure, right? And they say that they found a gun in his car, sure. He didn't have a gun on him, right? And he's in Ohio where it's potentially legal to have a gun, right? They shoot him 60 times. One person running away 60 times. I want y'all to be aware of what racism means and is. I don't want y'all to let anyone make y'all think that racism don't exist. I don't want y'all to be paranoid about racism. I don't want y'all to think of like, oh, is this person being racist to me or not? I don't want you living like that either. But you have to be aware of what's happening in the world so that you will know that you have an entire group of people, right? Our people, descendants that came from slavery, right? That are mistreated. And even if you don't feel it and even if you don't go through it, it's our duty to protect our people, right? It's our duty to stand up for our people and to fight for the justice of our people, right? There's a whole lot of groups out here that, you know what I'm saying, you got the Mexicans, you got the Japanese folks and the Asian folks and all these different folks. Everybody wants, you got the gay people trying to get their rights and all that. So everybody trying to get rights and all that. But there's only one group that never quite got the rights and that continues to be mistreated. Because you're not going to see a person get shot 60 times because they're gay. You're not going to see a person get shot 60 times because they're Mexican or because they're Asian, right? You might have one-offs with all those groups, but this is something that happens month after month, year after year, decade after decade for us. It constantly has happened and never stops, right? So we got to be in a position to where we don't set blinders to that. We got to carry the burden for all of our people, right? And the reason why we got to do that is because that's what our book, all those laws we just got done reading, that's the generosity that our book calls for. That's why if a person from our people runs away from his master, we cannot return him because we have to have generosity to look out after our brother, right? And all of our people are our brothers, whether we like them, whether they wrong, whether they right, whatever it is, they are brothers. So we got to make sure if they wrong, then treat them. It's wrong to run from the police. That's wrong. It's wrong. You ain't no way to get away. It's wrong to run from the police, right? But the way that you deal with that wrong is you put them in handcuffs, you take them to a judge, and then you sentence them according to what the law says that wrong deserves. Shooting a man 60 times in the back is not right. That's wrong too. And that has to be dealt with, not just with the individuals that done it, but with the mindset that causes this to continue to be done, not just in Ohio, not just in California, not just in Georgia, it's all over the nation. Almost every single state we hear about these things happening, right? And that's because it's a mindset that was birthed in this country that has to be acknowledged. And it starts with us, right? We have to acknowledge it. We have to talk about it.